4 drivers, 1 championship, going at all out at Homestead. How did we get to this point? Well, for me, it's kind of easy. Just go out and win. Go win Martinsville. Go to Homestead. Do what Jeff Gordon. Basically, just be Jeff Gordon. And that's what we basically did. We went all 2015 Jeff Gordon. Went out, won the race, and at Homestead at Martinsville. Got the win at Martinsville, which was huge. And we also won later, a couple weeks later at ISM Raceway or at Phoenix. And so we basically all were guaranteed a spot in the championship. That basically locked us in for Homestead. Went out to basically do whatever we needed to do at Homestead. And I decided, since we couldn't run the Hertz car, because we don't have the Hertz car in this game for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it's not out yet or if it's behind DLC. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm assuming it's free because the Hendrick Carter stuff's all free, but whatever. So instead of running that, after we did a sick burnout at Martinsville, we ran the Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior Throwback. I thought it was pretty fitting. So we went out, went up against these guys, the 3 other gentlemen, which were Clint Boyer, Brad Kozlowski, and Martin Truex Jr. for the championship. I was really thinking, Truex is going to be a big threat to win the championship because he's Truex. And, he was kind of God in 2017, and, probably in NASCAR Heat too. So I was thinking he was going to be a bit of a handful to get by and get the championship from. But thankfully, we got a decent restart. We were able to get by Clint Boyer. He was in front of us initially on the start because I was in 14th, he was in 11th. We were able to get a good restart, or get a good start, I should say. We were able to get by him. Brad was kind of stuck behind. He was in like 21st, I think. Started kind of mid-pack, but he had a decent car, so because he was able to get to the front pretty early on in the race. So I was thinking him and Clint were. I didn't think Clint was going to run as good as he did in this race. I was thinking Brad maybe could if he had a decent car in the long run. He did, so it was a fun race. You had a bunch of comers and goers. You had like the 47 qualified up near the front, and he fell back. So it was a fun race. It was basically like a real Homestead race, where there's a lot of guys in tire strategy. But anyway, we're getting up to Truex. I was trying to get by him because I was like, this is for all the marbles, man. This is for the championship right here. I could literally get by him, and I could literally just stay right in 5th, pretty much, and just do whatever, or 6th, or whatever position he was in. So I was like trying to get there, and unfortunately I got into him, and that sent him around, and I felt pretty bad about it, and it brought out a caution. Kind of messed up his car, but thankfully he still ran pretty competitive despite me really screwing up his car. But that's how I have the settings messed up or messed around with in this championship mode. I kind of make it through. You can have damage and still run up decently up front, so whatevs. But yeah, the real surprise of this race was I thought Kyle Larson was going to be the guy to beat, and here I am, beating on his quarter panel. But no, he wasn't the one to beat. He wasn't the Ganassi car to beat. It was Jamie McMurray, his teammate. Jamie McMurray just dominated this race for the most part. It's probably going to be his race to win if I hadn't done what I did late in the race, which we'll see here, in a few more minutes. But before then, I was trying to get by, Kyle Busch and Joe Logano up there in Harvick. Unfortunately, Clint Boyer finally got by me, and I was like, oh no, our car, I can't get by him. He got by me like I was sitting still. I was like, oh man, we're screwed. Our car was so slow and tight, and then he got by me. There goes Ryan Blaney. There goes Brad. I was like, oh crap, Brad's coming by me too. Oh no. I'm like, oh, we're so screwed, man. I'm like, we're nowhere near as fast as these guys were. These guys started a lot further back than I did, initially after that start. And they were able to drive by me like I was just sitting still. I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I was like hoping and praying we could get this car fixed up, because it was really tight at this point in the race. I couldn't turn it at all without it wanting to hit the ball. I thought I was going to end up tearing up the car before we got to the finish of the race. I was like, oh no, this isn't good. So yeah, I was really worried at this point. I was like, oh no, please let me get by these guys. Please let me get by these guys. I don't want to lose the championship with a crappy car. I just didn't want to turn. So I was hoping and praying we get a caution at some point and help me out a little bit so I can get some at least some of the, get something on him and Clint, or Brad and Clint, to get by them and, legitimately on track. So, But yeah, at this point in the race, I thought we were basically all but done. And somehow Kyle Busch, something happened to him. I don't know what happened. We just blew by him like he blew a tire or something. But yeah, then he ended up bringing out the caution that I needed right there. And I was like, oh boy, we're just sitting pretty here. You know, we were able to pit here, and we were able to basically stretch the fuel out to about 5 to go in the race. So this was a huge moment of the race to get this caution and this pit stop. And then we even had an even bigger moment. This restart, I was like, oh, here we go, let's go. And then the whole outside line, including Brad, who was right directly in front of me, he went up to the outside a little bit. They all get stifled by Kyle Busch's car. He didn't decide to pit. I don't know why. Blew a tire, had a mechanical issue or something that slowed him down tremendously, and it killed the entire. It basically left half the field, you know, more than 7-8 seconds behind me, and it was just me and McMurray basically. We're the only 2 cars on tires that were battling with these guys. Mostly my teammates at Hendrick Motorsports who tried to stay out and stretch the fuel mileage a little bit. And Truex. There's Truex again, running in second. You know, wasn't mad at me apparently, even though I bumped into him and basically took him out. But he was like, it's cool, bro. Whatevs. So I was able to battle it out with my teammate Alex Bowman and try and get the lead here. I was like, oh yeah, we're sitting pretty here. Just get by Bowman. You know, he kind of made a run at me on the outside. So he had the outside. And the outside line's a little bit better than the inside, but I had the better tires. So tires won in this case, and I'm like, oh man, we're gonna set sail here. And then I go into the middle of turns 1 and 2, and McMurray had other plans. McMurray's like, nah, I'm winning this race, bro. You sit back. I'm going to just win this race. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, bro. So McMurray basically, he had the car to beat. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Kyle Larson got in hhis car and he went into Larson's car or what. But he ended up being the guy to beat today, which was kind of awesome to see. This is the first time I've seen McMurray be that good in this game period. So yeah, we went down pit road. I was like, okay, let me take 2 tires and get enough fuel to get us to the end, you know. And then the Rainbow Warriors came out. They did their thing. They did what they needed to do. They went back. They threw back to the 90s and the Jeff Gordon 90s pit crew and had an amazing pit stop. Got us out. We were in front of McMurray at this point, which was awesome. Once he pitted, you know. Anyway. We ended up in front of him because we took 2 tires, we had less time on fuel, and our car ran so much better on 2 tires, surprisingly, because we were able to turn a lot better. When the car was loosened up, it was just running flawlessly. But at this point, I was really worried because Brad Keselowski had stayed out, and I'm like, oh no, Brad's going to try some crazy fuel strategy here, and he might win the race and the championship. I'm like, oh no. Don't do this to me, Brad. Don't win it like this. Don't make me lose it like this after having everything happen. And I'm like, oh no. But thankfully, Brad ended up, I guess he ended up pitting here. He succeeded the lead, and I was able to get by him. And we went just clear sailing after this point. Nobody else really had anything for us, you know, on 2 tires. Surprisingly, we were way better on 2 tires. I was like, dang, we can actually turn now. And then Truex tried to stretch his fuel mileage a little bit, but he had to pit again anyway because he pitted so early, or a lot earlier than we did. So he ended up having to come down pit road, and that kind of cost him the shot at the championship. I mean, he was already kind of screwed because of me, you know, kind of wrecking it there. So, but yeah, ended up taking the white flag here. 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank, and yeah, I was really surprised nobody was coming after me on 2 tires. I actually ended up stretching the lead a little bit. Unfortunately, my teammate Chase Elliott had a really crappy race and a crappy finish, but he was there to kind of see me off and go win the championship for Team Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports. So that was pretty awesome. And we went out and just went through turns 3 and 4, tried to be as gingerly as possible, almost hit the wall there. Started to tighten up. If we'd have gone another 5 more laps, I probably would have lost the race. But we got the championship, got the race, so it didn't matter in the end. Great, really happy about that. I was like, oh yeah, we finally got a championship. And we did it in the throwback car. Because Hertz isn't in the game. I don't know why. Screw you, Hertz. Anyway, we went in the throwback car for Exalta. And I was like, you know, I'll just run this car because it's Jeff Gordon. It's cool. Probably the coolest throwback for me personally from the throwbacks from this year, from earlier this year at Darlington, like that. The Steve Park throwback that Joe Logano. Even though I don't like Joe Logano, he had a cool throwback. I really loved Kyle Busch's throwback, even though I don't like Kyle Busch. But I like his Skittles throwback. I like the 90s, like, late 90s throwbacks. Those were pretty cool. Because that's when the sport was probably at its best. But yeah, those were three of my favorites. And Blaney's was pretty cool, and Kurt Busch's was awesome, because he basically did a throwback to himself, which is pretty neat. But yeah, so, I ended up winning the championship in the Jeff Gordon car, basically. Basically pulled a Jeff Gordon, won the race, and won the championship, just like in 1998, so yay. And for a while there, that was the last time a guy won the race and championship, till I think Kevin Harvick basically did it in 2014, and every driver's done it since, you know, won the race and won the championship, yeah. Ever since then, so yeah, it's kind of become more of a common sight than it is now. But yeah, McMurray ended up second. Bubba Wallace ended up third in the race. I was like, dang, where did Bubba come from? But yeah, Bubba had a decent finish. So that was awesome to see. He kind of had a struggle. He struggled mostly in his career in the season mode. Yeah, we won. Clint Boyer was second in the points. Brad was third, and Truex was fourth. Brad and Truex probably got there because of just, you know, having to pit late like they did. That kind of cost them a lot of track position. So yeah, but yeah, here we are celebrating with the awesome throwback. You know, some Rainbow Warrior throwback and Rainbow Warriors in pit lane. And I love I got the throwback fire suit too on top of that. That's pretty lit. So yeah, great run, great, just great everything. Won the championship.